Legacy Rewritten. Chapter 1 The Price of Vision. The forest of death was quiet. Too quiet. Naruto Uzumaki crouched low beside the limp body of Hinata Hyuga, his hands slick with blood. Hers. Her right eye was gone, slashed clean through by a stray kunai. The attacker was long gone. Coward. Naruto's breath came in ragged bursts, part rage, part fear. Stay with me, Nada-chan, he muttered, pressing gauze to her wound. Don't you dare check out on me. Not like this. Hinata whimpered beneath his hands. Her pale left eye fluttered open, glassy and unfocused. See can't see. I know. I know. Naruto swallowed hard. But IV got you. I promise. Kiba and Shino were still fighting somewhere in the deeper woods, but they'd sent Hinata ahead with the scroll. She had made it. Barely. And now. Naruto's heart pounded. He'd never used his bloodline on anyone else before. He wasn't even supposed to have a bloodline. It was a secret, buried by the Hokage, known only to a handful of people. Rapid regeneration, like some mythical beast, and a terrifying ability to reshape himself at the cellular level. It had always worked for him. Broken bones. Slashed skin. Even poisoned organs. He simply changed, adapting on instinct. But this. He looked down at Hinata again. Maybe he could do more than just adapt. Maybe he could understand. They hid in a hollowed-out tree trunk, chakra suppressed to avoid predators and enemy teams. Hinata was unconscious again, wrapped in Naruto's spare jacket. He stared at the bloodied bandages covering the right side of her face. He knew the Hyuga. The Byakugan wasn't just a tool to them. It was everything. And losing one eye. It wouldn't just shame Hinata. It would ruin her future. Unless. Naruto looked down at his palm and focused. Flesh shifted. Bones bent. Skin changed hue. In seconds, his hand looked like Kakashi's. Calloused, scarred, older. But then, he reversed it, reshaping it back with practiced ease. His bloodline didn't just imitate. It learned. That was the difference. What if? Naruto bit his lip. This was dangerous. Irreversible. Maybe even taboo. But he didn't care. He unwrapped Hinata's bandages. Then, gently, using a field scalpel Sakura had given him as a joke gift, he removed her remaining eye. I am sorry, he whispered. Please forgive me. Hours later the pain nearly made him black out. When he woke up, it was dark. His left eye throbbed. New, unfamiliar. The transplanted eye had taken. But that wasn't enough. Not yet. He sat up, cross-legged, and focused everything into his bloodline. He opened himself to what the Byakugan saw. Chakra, muscles, pressure points, veins. It was alien, overwhelming. And then. Click. Something inside shifted. Naruto gasped. His eye activated. The veins near his temple bulged, and suddenly he saw the forest as if it were made of chakra. It worked. The eye worked. And more importantly, he understood it. With his body still swimming in pain and chakra exhaustion, Naruto tapped into his transformation ability again. His eyes burned. When he opened them next, he didn't just have one Byakugan. He had two. Both created from his own flesh, powered by his chakra, and modeled perfectly from the transplant. Naruto grinned. Time to fix you, Hinata. Later Hinata woke up slowly. The pain was gone. She blinked. Then blinked again. Both eyes worked. And the world. The world had never looked so clear. And Naruto-kun? She breathed. He smiled weakly from the wall opposite her, chakra utterly drained. You're back, he said. Both eyes. How? She asked. Naruto looked at her, not with his usual cerulean eyes, but with the white, veined power of the Byakugan. Two of them. I copied yours, he said. Then made you a new set. Hinata stared in silence. Then, unbelievably, tears filled her perfect new eyes. Naruto. You gave me everything. Chapter 2 Whispers in the Shadows. The Forest of Death had seen blood before. But this time it witnessed something different. Something that would ripple through the shinobi world for years to come. Naruto and Hinata made their way back to the central tower just as the sun crested the trees. Both were bruised, tired, and quiet. Naruto's steps were uneven, his chakra dangerously low. Hinata clung to his side. Not out of weakness, but gratitude. The scroll in her pouch was safe. Her vision? Restored. Naruto-kun, she whispered, glancing around to make sure no one else was listening. We can't tell anyone. Not yet. Naruto nodded. Yeah. I figured. He transformed his Byakugan eyes back to their usual blue before they left the tree hollow. The copied dojutsu was powerful, but revealing it, especially during the exams, would raise too many questions. Questions he didn't want to answer. Not until he was ready. Hidden Leaf, Chunin Exam Tower. Sasuke Uchiha sat against a stone pillar, arms folded, watching with narrowed eyes as Team 7 reunited at the check-in station. He noticed the way Hinata leaned on Naruto. The bandages on her face were gone. And yet, her eyes were untouched. Intact. That wasn't possible. He'd seen her take the hit. Seen the blood. Word had even spread. One of the Hyuga had lost an eye. So how was it back? He tilted his head. Naruto, he said aloud, quiet and curious. What did you do? Elsewhere, Hyuga compound Hayashi Hyuga stood silently, reading a short report delivered by a masked messenger. His grip tightened with each line. Hinata, he murmured. Her chakra had been monitored at a distance after the incident. Records from the Umbu said her right eye was gone. But now, Mednin scouts claimed both were functional again. Perfectly synchronized. That was impossible. Even the clan's secret techniques couldn't regenerate a lost Byakugan. And yet, Hayashi frowned. She would not betray the clan. Not willingly. But someone could have taken advantage of her desperation. He turned toward a kneeling branch member. Dispatch a team to observe her during the third exam. Discreetly. Yes, Hayashi-sama. If someone outside the clan had duplicated the Byakugan. It was an act of war. Training grounds, day before third exam. Naruto sat cross-legged beneath a tree, hands trembling slightly as he examined a kunai. He wasn't focused on the weapon. He was focused inward. On what he'd done. He had copied a bloodline. Replicated it. The implication scared him. If he could do this with eyes, what else could he do it with? Organs? Limbs? What about the Sharingan? His breath caught. Sasuke. Yo. Naruto flinched. Kakashi had appeared behind him, eye creased in amusement. You've been unusually quiet, Naruto. Just thinking. Kakashi hummed. Not your usual specialty. Naruto shot him a look. Kakashi's visible eye sharpened suddenly. Something changed. You've grown stronger, haven't you? Naruto didn't respond. Kakashi continued, more serious this time. Whatever you're hiding, Naruto. Be careful. Power like that doesn't go unnoticed. Naruto looked up. It already hadn't. Chapter 3 3 Eyes, 1 Goal. The stands were filled. Konoha's elite, several clan heads, and even the Kazekage sat high above the arena floor. This wasn't just the Chunin exams. It was a display. A spectacle. And for some, a battlefield. Naruto leaned on the rail beside Sakura and Ino, arms folded as he stared at the arena below. His eyes were calm, but inside, his thoughts were tangled. Hinata stood in the middle of the arena floor. Alone. Her opponent a thick-shouldered genin from Kumo with a jagged scar across his nose and an ego to match. The proctor raised a hand. Begin. The Kumo genin moved fast. Faster than most expected for his size. But Hinata was faster. Her movements were sharper than anything she'd shown during the academy years. Fluid. Precise. Controlled. The boy lunged. Hinata dipped low, palm glowing blue. She struck his wrist, then his shoulder, then his chest. 3 strikes, each a pulse of gentle fist chakra. The boy dropped. Winner Hinata Hyuga. The crowd murmured, surprised at her newfound confidence. Naruto exhaled slowly. She'd held back. On purpose. No Byakugan activation. No sign of her new eye's true potential. She hadn't even flared her chakra much. Just enough to pass. Smart. Observation deck, clan seating area. Hayashi's eyes narrowed. She was better. Sharper. More in control than he had ever seen her. And yet. Her chakra flow was different. Something's off, murmured Ko, his assistant. Those strikes. She didn't use the Byakugan, but it was like she saw everything anyway. Hayashi didn't respond. He just stared harder. Below, backstage waiting area. Sasuke watched Hinata return through the side corridor, flanked by Niji and Hanabi's indifferent gazes. She met Naruto's eyes. Blue eyes, harmless, cheerful. But Sasuke wasn't buying it. After her injury in the Forest of Death, there had been no healing time. No Mednin aid. No scroll records. And Naruto had been with her the whole time. Alone. He took a step forward, intercepting her path. You're stronger now, Sasuke said. Not just in skill. Your chakra's more precise. Hinata met his gaze, calm and unreadable. I trained. With Naruto? Sasuke asked. Her silence said more than words. Behind her, Naruto appeared, stepping between them with a grin. You know, team, if you're jealous, just say so. Sasuke's eyes flicked to Naruto's face. You changed too. Naruto's grin didn't waver. You worried? Sasuke said nothing, but as he walked past, he murmured under his breath, let's find out. Later, Naruto vs. Kiba. Naruto stood in the arena opposite Kiba and Akamaru. The two had been talking trash all morning, but Naruto barely heard a word. His mind was still on Sasuke. Sasuke had felt it. Somehow. He needed to stay sharp. As the match began, Kiba came at him hard, launching smoke bombs and fang-over-fang attacks. Naruto weathered the hits, dodging with ease. When Akamaru leapt at him mid-spin, Naruto slammed his hand into the dog's flank, diverting the chakra point just slightly. Kiba blinked. You blocked his. What the hell was that? Naruto scratched his cheek. Let's just say. I've been practicing. He didn't activate the Byakugan. He didn't need to. He'd already mapped Kiba's chakra points earlier while Hinata had been fighting. The transformation gave him access to the visual memory and internal structure. But only for a time. And he was learning how to stretch that time. Observation deck. Sasuke watched, frowning deeper. No Byakugan veins. No Hyuga stance. But that strike. It had the same exact timing as the Hyuga gentle fist. He was sure of it now. Naruto had done something. Copied it? No. Become it. He looked down at his own hands. What if? What if Naruto could copy any bloodline? What if he could copy his? Chapter 4: The Curse of Curiosity. The match was over. Naruto had won with a flash of speed and a single, well-placed hit. No flashy ninjutsu. No clones. Just one strike. Clean and efficient. Too efficient. Sasuke lingered at the far end of the hall, arms folded as Naruto emerged from the tunnel. His dark eyes locked onto his teammate with a quiet intensity. You've changed, Sasuke said flatly. Naruto shrugged, feigning innocence. We all have. I saw your hit. It was Hyuga style. No, it wasn't. Yes, Sasuke pressed. It was. He stepped forward, invading Naruto's space. What did you do in the Forest of Death? Naruto didn't flinch. Saved a friend. By giving her new eyes? Naruto's smirk faded. Sasuke's own expression darkened. That wasn't a healing jutsu, Naruto. You copied something. I saw it in the way you moved. You've been hiding it. Let it go, Sasuke, Naruto warned. Sasuke leaned in closer, voice low. You figured out a way to duplicate bloodlines, didn't you? The silence that followed was answer enough. Hokage Tower. Later that night Kakashi Hatake stared down at Sasuke from behind his mask, fingers tented. You're telling me, he said slowly, that Naruto has somehow replicated a dojutsu and passed it back to its original owner. Sasuke stood straight, arms crossed, jaw tight. I am not guessing. I saw him use Hyuga-style strikes without activating a single seal or dojutsu. Hinata lost her eye. Then she came back with two. Stronger than before. Kakashi sighed and stood up. And you want me to? What? Confront him? Sasuke nodded. I want to know if it's possible. If it can be done with other bloodlines. There it was. Kakashi narrowed his eye. Is this about Naruto? Or about the Sharingan? Sasuke didn't answer. Look, Kakashi said, walking past him, if what you're suggesting is true, then Naruto's bloodline may be one of the rarest and most dangerous to ever exist. Sasuke's voice was cold. Then why hasn't he told anyone? Maybe because he knows exactly what kind of attention it would bring, Kakashi said sharply. Not all gifts are meant to be shared. Naruto's apartment. That same night Naruto sat cross-legged on the floor, both hands pressed to his face. His Byakugan eyes flared beneath closed lids, veins bulging, chakra flowing. He focused on a fly crawling across his ceiling. Saw every tendon in its wings, every flicker of motion. His perception stretched farther and farther. Through walls, under rooftops, beneath Konoha streets. Then, just as suddenly, the chakra cut out. He gasped, collapsing onto the tatami mat. Too much. The copied dojutsu worked. But it burned through chakra fast. Far faster than the real thing. He'd need to refine his transformation further. Find ways to stabilize what he created. Or else someone would catch him mid-switch. Forest border. Unmarked tree line. Two shadows watched from a branch above Konoha's outer perimeter. You saw it? The taller figure asked. The shorter figure. Older, with long dark hair. Nodded. Uzumaki. One transplanted Byakugan. Then two. He's learning. Do we act? Not yet, the older one said, eyes glowing faint red in the dark. Let him grow. Let him reveal his limits. A pause. And then. We'll see if he can survive taking mine. Chapter 5. The Eye Thieves. A chill settled over Konoha. Not from weather, but from pressure. The kind of pressure only elite shinobi could feel. A weight in the air, as though something monstrous stirred beneath the surface of the village. And all of it centered around one person. Uchiha training ground. Sasuke stood in the center of the empty clearing, chest bare, chakra flaring in spiraling waves around him. Each strike of his foot cracked the ground. His Sharingan spun violently. He saw it every time he closed his eyes now. Naruto's casual power, his replication of Hyuga techniques, his control. A gift not tied to lineage, but to understanding. And that terrified him. Because if Naruto could copy the Byakugan, then what was stopping him from copying the Sharingan? Damn it, Sasuke muttered. I won't be second. Not again. Hidden cave system. Unknown location. The torches cast long shadows over cracked stone as four cloaked shinobi surrounded a pair of restrained targets. One bore the red eyes of a Sharingan. The other, the crystalline gaze of the ice release. You understand why this must be done, the leader said, voice smooth as silk. Bloodlines like yours shouldn't belong to clans. They belong to everyone. The first scream echoed across the cavern. A second never came. The rogue group. The collectors. Moved quickly. Their next target was already marked. Konoha. Naruto's apartment. Naruto woke with a gasp, hand reflexively forming a seal. Nothing. No attackers. No traps. Just a feeling. A tightness in his chest. An instinct screaming at him that someone, somewhere, had just paid a price for having power. He sat up slowly, bandaged hand covering his eye. The Byakugan strain had faded overnight, his chakra stabilized again. But the sense of being watched had not. He transformed his eyes. Just for a moment. And looked out toward the edge of the village. Nothing. He cut the transformation instantly. But the fear lingered. Hokage's office, morning. Kakashi stood at the window, reading the classified scroll sent from a rain country outpost. Sakura stood beside him, pale. Kekei Genkai thefts, she said. Multiple cases. Ice release. Sharingan. Rinnegan attempt. And every victim left. Empty, Kakashi said grimly. Eyes missing. Bloodlines extracted. No survivors. He turned toward her, gaze hardening. If they learn what Naruto can do, he won't be a person to them anymore. He'll be a resource. Which meant one thing, they had to act. Before the enemy did. Chapter 6 Hunted. The wind carried whispers through the village. Unspoken truths dancing just beneath the surface of conversation. Shinobi spoke in hushed tones. Umbu teams moved more frequently. And Naruto felt eyes on him more often than not. The word was spreading. Not loud enough to reach the public. But too fast to be coincidence. Someone was hunting bloodlines. And someone had leaked his name. Training Ground 7, midday. Naruto slammed into the tree trunk, landing hard and coughing dust. The spar had started like any other. But Sasuke wasn't holding back today. His chakra flared violently. Sharingan spinning. You're pushing harder than usual, team, Naruto grunted, brushing off his pants. Sasuke appeared in front of him a breath later, eyes narrowed. I want to see it. See what? The thing you're hiding. Naruto stood up slowly, smile gone. We're not doing this. Sasuke didn't move. You copied the Byakugan. You healed Hinata. You're not denying it anymore. I didn't steal anything, Naruto said tightly. She gave it to me. I don't care how you got it. I want to know how far it goes. Then Sasuke did something Naruto hadn't expected. He reached up. And pulled down the edge of his forehead protector, exposing his Sharingan. Take it. Naruto froze. What? Copy it. If you can replicate Dojutsu, I want to see if you can handle this one. The real test. Naruto stepped back, disgusted. This isn't a game, Sasuke. Sasuke's eyes were burning now. I need to know, Naruto. If you can take it. That means you're stronger than me. But if you can't. Naruto cut him off with a punch that sent him sliding backward across the clearing. I am not taking anything from you, Naruto snapped. That's not who I am. Sasuke wiped the blood from his lip, slowly standing. But it's what you're becoming. Somewhere outside the village, Dasuke figure knelt beneath a gnarled tree. Their mask was bone white, with a red slit over one eye. A bird of ink landed on their shoulder and whispered. Naruto Uzumaki. Copying bloodlines. Possibly more. The masked shinobi tilted their head. A natural replicator. Finally. They disappeared in a flicker of distorted space. Hokage Tower, Knight Kakashi sat at his desk, file in hand. Another corpse had been found. This time a Kagaya survivor. Their spinal structure had been torn out with surgical precision. The enemy was escalating. And Naruto's name was whispered in the intercepted messages now. Labeled as the living key. He picked up a blank scroll and began writing emergency protocol. Sakura would protest. Naruto would resist. But it was time. He had to put surveillance on Naruto. Before someone else did first. Naruto's apartment, that same night Naruto sat on the edge of his bed, hands trembling. He hadn't told anyone. But after that fight with Sasuke, after that moment. His body had responded. Just for a second, without meaning to, his left eye had shifted. The chakra pathways had mimicked the Sharingan pattern. It hadn't activated. But it almost had. He clutched his chest. What am I becoming? Outside his window, across the rooftops, a masked figure watched silently. Not Umbu. Not friendly. And very, very interested. Chapter 7 The Collector's Approach. The first strike came without sound. A flash of steel arced through the space Naruto had just stood in, embedding itself into the tree behind him. Bark split, chakra still sizzling along the blade's edge. Naruto landed low, kunai already drawn. "Umbu?" he called out, narrowing his eyes. No answer. Just silence. And then, a second blade whistled toward his throat. He blocked it by instinct, sparks flying, but this one wasn't meant to kill. It was testing him. Studying him. He dropped back into a defensive stance. "Who the hell are you?" A figure emerged from the shadows. Mask like polished bone. Robes dark as dried blood. A faint red glow flickered beneath the mask's eye slit. "You are Uzumaki Naruto," the voice said, deep and smooth. "Host of the Nine Tails. The Regenerator. The Replicator." Naruto's chest tightened. "You're with them," he growled. "The collectors." The masked shinobi didn't deny it. "I've come for a sample," the collector said calmly. "You may surrender a piece willingly. Or I will take the whole." Naruto's fist clenched. "You think I'll let you take anything from me?" The collector struck without warning. Battle in the woods hidden edge of Konoha. Naruto barely had time to react. The enemy was fast. Unnaturally so. His strikes didn't aim for fatal blows, but targeted specific chakra points. Places Naruto knew would weaken his replication process. "He knows about my bloodline." That was the terrifying part. This wasn't a random hunter. This was someone who had done their homework. Naruto flipped over a sweep kick, landed on a branch, and launched a barrage of shuriken. Only for them to vanish into mist. The collector's chakra warped the air. "You've copied the Byakugan. How did it feel? Seeing through someone else's blood?" Naruto didn't answer. He couldn't. He transformed. Just for an instant. Just one eye. The Byakugan flared to life. The forest exploded into his vision. The enemy's chakra network was twisted. Like dozens of other stolen bloodlines were stitched together into one unnatural form. Naruto swore. "You're not even human anymore." "Not fully," the collector agreed. "That's what makes me better." He struck again, and this time Naruto didn't hold back. He used Hyuga strikes. Senja level speed. And something new. Chakra pulses that mimicked a right-hand current, faint but effective. But it wasn't enough. His chakra began to falter. The eye began to strain. And then, pain. The collector's blade sank into Naruto's side, narrowly missing vital organs. Blood splattered the moss below as Naruto dropped to one knee. "Impressive," the collector said. "You've already evolved beyond your heritage. But you lack discipline." The blade rose again. Naruto had a choice. Reveal everything. Or die. Flashback Hinata's words: "I don't care what anyone says. You're not a thief, Naruto-kun. You're a protector. A creator." Present Naruto growled, eyes flashing with fury. He transformed fully. The Byakugan flared in both eyes. But not white this time. Black veins. Glowing green irises. Pupils like shattered glass. The collector hesitated. "What?" Naruto moved. 1 second he was kneeling. The next he was behind the collector. Strike. Palm. Pulse. The enemy gasped. His chakra nodes imploded. Naruto stood over him, barely conscious, barely holding himself together. "This power isn't yours to take," he whispered. "It's mine to give." He collapsed. Somewhere else, high rooftop, Sasuke watched from a distance. He hadn't intervened. He hadn't needed to. But what he saw, that eye, that form, wasn't the Byakugan, he muttered. He activated his Sharingan, trying to memorize the shape. Then he whispered, it was something new. Chapter 8: Eyes on the Future. The first thing Naruto felt was pressure. Not pain. Not exhaustion. Wait. He opened his eyes slowly. And found himself staring at the ceiling of the Hokage's office. Bandages wrapped his chest. His side ached. The dull throb in his eyes told him he'd pushed his transformation too far again. Kakashi-sensei, he muttered groggily. A voice cut through the silence. I told you not to get caught. Naruto turned. Kakashi stood by the window, arms crossed. He wasn't smiling. His single visible eye wasn't relaxed. It was sharp. Calculating. Want to explain what you were doing nearly dead outside the village with half your chakra burned and a collector carved into the ground next to you? Naruto's mouth opened. Closed. He didn't have a good answer. I didn't plan it, he finally said. He came for me. I survived. Kakashi stepped forward. You didn't just survive, Naruto. You overpowered him. Do you have any idea what kind of threat that man was? He had at least 3 bloodlines stitched into him. Naruto looked down. He would have taken mine too. Kakashi was quiet for a long moment. I know. Elsewhere, Hyuga compound Hinata stood at the gates, fuming. Her fists were clenched, her hair tied back in a tight knot. They hadn't let her in to see Naruto. Clan orders, said the branch guard. You've been marked for review after your association. With Naruto-kun? She asked coolly. The guard looked away. Hinata turned on her heel and marched toward the Hokage Tower. If they wouldn't let her speak as a Hyuga, she would speak as a witness. Hokage Tower, minutes later the door burst open. Naruto turned, startled, as Hinata entered without asking permission. Kakashi raised a brow but said nothing. Hinata walked straight up to Naruto's bed, placed both hands on her hips, and stared him down. You idiot, she said. Naruto blinked. You almost died. Again. And for what? To keep hiding what you are from people who already want to use it? I didn't ask for any of this, he snapped. I never wanted to be some chakra experiment. I just wanted to help you. Hinata's expression softened. She sat on the edge of his bed and gently touched his arm. I know. But it's too late to hide now. The world's already seen you. They're coming. Naruto's jaw clenched. Then I'll fight. No, Kakashi said firmly. You'll train. You'll prepare. And until I say otherwise, you're under Umbu protection. Naruto frowned. So I am a prisoner now? You're an asset, Kakashi replied, no apology in his tone. And I won't lose another one of my students because I pretended the world would play fair. A heavy silence followed. Then Kakashi turned to Hinata. You're the only person he trusted enough to copy. That puts you in just as much danger. If you want out. I am not leaving him, she said immediately. Kakashi nodded. Didn't think so. At that very moment, northern border of Fire Country, the second collector knelt atop a hill, overlooking the tree line of Konoha. He didn't speak. He simply adjusted the pack on his shoulder, containing preserved dojutsu, and activated the sensory seal on his mask. Targets locked. Mission priority Uzumaki Naruto. Acquire. Extract. Dissect. Chapter 9 The Second Strike. Night settled over Konoha like a veil. Quiet, deceptive, and waiting to be torn. But within that stillness, something moved. Konoha, Hyuga compound Hinata lay awake. She couldn't sleep. Not with the weight of everything Naruto had told her. About the eye. About the collector. About what his power felt like. Growing, warping, pulling in everything it touched. She didn't fear Naruto. Not really. But she feared what the world would do to him. Then, she felt it. A shift in the air. A flicker of chakra on the edge of her perception. Too silent. Too precise. She sat up, Byakugan flaring to life. Still hers, still transformed, still perfect. She gasped. A chakra signature. Masked, twisted, and wrong. Was moving through the Hyuga compound. No alarm. No guard stirred. Which meant this one knew how to hide from Byakugan. Or worse. How to shut it down. Naruto's apartment. Naruto sat cross-legged, bandaged and breathing slowly as he recovered chakra. Kakashi's words still echoed in his head, if you use that eye again, make damn sure no one sees it. He didn't want to use it again. But he might not have a choice. A knock came at the window. Not the door. Naruto was on his feet instantly, kunai in hand. But it was Sasuke. Of course. The Uchiha didn't wait for permission. He stepped inside like he owned the floor and dropped a scroll onto Naruto's table. What's this? Naruto asked. Classified Umbu mission list. One of the collectors infiltrated a Hyuga training hall. Hinata's in danger. Naruto froze. You could have just told me. I figured you'd need proof. Naruto looked up. Sasuke's expression was tight. This is what happens, Sasuke said, when you try to hide power. It leaks. And predators follow the scent. Hyuga compound, interior hall. The masked collector moved silently through the empty corridors. He'd already knocked out 3 branch members without a sound. He wasn't here for a fight. He was here for a sample. The Hyuga heiress had been marked after her eye regeneration. And he intended to claim what the first collector failed to retrieve. Then. He paused. Someone was watching him. He turned just in time to see Hinata slam her palm into his shoulder. You shouldn't have come here, she whispered. He staggered backward. But not far. Another blur shot through the open hallway. Naruto. He slammed into the collector's midsection like a cannon, driving them both through a wall. Outside the compound, the courtyard lit up with chakra as Naruto and the collector clashed. This one was stronger than the last. Faster. More refined. But Naruto wasn't alone this time. Hinata joined the fight, gentle fist strikes disrupting the collector's internal flow while Naruto harried him from behind. They were coordinated. Sharp. But then. The collector got smart. He dropped a chakra seal onto the ground. A wide field suppression tag. Naruto's transformation flickered. His vision went black. The Byakugan shut down. And the collector struck. A blade burst from his palm. Aimed straight for Naruto's neck. He couldn't transform. He couldn't dodge in time. Then. Sasuke intercepted. His kunai shattered the blade mid-swing, Sharingan glowing red as blood streaked down his cheek. I told you not to hesitate, Dobe. The 3 of them. Naruto, Hinata, Sasuke. Stood shoulder to shoulder now. The collector paused. Then retreated. Too many targets. Too much resistance. Not enough gain. He disappeared into mist and shadow. Later, outside the Hokage Tower, Kakashi stood over the battlefield, arms folded. Another attack. Another bloodline hunter slipping through the village walls. And Naruto, still hiding something critical. You're not stable yet, are you? He asked quietly. Naruto didn't answer. He just looked down at his shaking hands. I almost died, he admitted. Again. Sasuke stood behind him, silent. Then he said the words Naruto wasn't ready for. You need more. Take my eye. Chapter 10 The Price of Sight. Naruto stared at Sasuke like he hadn't heard him right. What did you just say? I said take it, Sasuke repeated. My Sharingan. The Uchiha stood stone-faced in the moonlight outside the Hokage Tower. His left eye still glowed faintly red, 3 tomo spinning in slow, deliberate circles. Not just active. Offered. Hinata stepped forward immediately. Sasuke, no. It's not for you to decide, he snapped, never looking at her. I am not taking your eye, Naruto said firmly. I don't need it that badly. You do, Sasuke shot back. You fought blind last night. 1 sealing tag and you were powerless. If the next collector lands a hit, you're dead. Then I'll train harder. That's not enough. Sasuke barked. Not for what's coming. Not with what you are. Naruto took a breath. I am not a weapon, Sasuke. I am not going to stack bloodlines like trophies. No, Sasuke said coldly. You're going to understand mine. That gave Naruto pause. Sasuke pulled a scroll from his cloak and unsealed a small box. Inside lay a single glass container, filled with preservation fluid. And something organic. A single eye. During the war, Sasuke said, I took this from an enemy Uchiha. I've never used it. I always intended to destroy it. But now, I think it has a purpose. He stepped closer and placed the container into Naruto's hands. Use it. Learn from it. Then destroy it. I want to see if your bloodline can handle the Sharingan. Underground bunker, Kakashi's personal lab. They did it in secret. Kakashi watched silently as Sakura, under protest, helped perform the transplant in a sterile chamber deep beneath the Hokage monument. Hinata stood nearby, silent but resolute. Naruto never made a sound. The Sharingan took to the socket immediately. No rejection. No scarring. It accepted him. And now came the real test. Naruto sat up, eye bandaged. He winced as his chakra surged. His body worked faster than it should. Already analyzing the foreign tissue. Understanding it. It's starting, he muttered. Within Naruto, bloodline space he was floating. Or standing? The space around him was dark, but not cold. More like dense. Like chakra made liquid. In front of him floated 3 eyes. One Byakugan. One blank. One spinning Sharingan. He reached forward. The Sharingan moved toward him. Testing his intent, resisting. You are not Uchiha. No, Naruto said. I am Uzumaki. The eye hesitated. Then it folded into his hand. Naruto gasped as power surged through him. Not just vision, but perception. Depth. Flow. The ability to read intention. He opened his eyes in the real world. One blue. One red. Topside, hours later Naruto stood at the edge of the Hokage monument, his bandage removed. He held up his hand and transformed his eyes. First both blue. Then Byakugan. Then Sharingan. Not Sasuke's. His own. The shape was slightly different. Uzumaki red, ringed with black, the tomo sharp like shuriken. Chakra swirled in his iris like a vortex. Sasuke stepped beside him. You did it. Yeah, Naruto said quietly. I didn't want it. But now that I have it. I get it. Sasuke nodded. It's not about stealing power. It's about mastering it. Naruto didn't reply. Instead, he looked out over the village, Sharingan spinning silently in his eye. Chapter 11 Eyes Forward. At first, it was just chakra outlines. Then it was movement patterns. Now, it was intent. Naruto sat on the Hokage monument again, eye partially activated, his body humming with strange resonance. The Sharingan didn't just show what was. It hinted at what would be. In the moments before a kunai was thrown, Naruto could already see the path it would take. Before a shadow clone poofed, he sensed the chakra collapse. His reaction speed had doubled. And that was when it was only partially active. But it wasn't just the power that disturbed him. It was what he saw when he wasn't trying to see anything. Earlier, during meditation when both of Naruto's transformed eyes were active. His replicated Byakugan and newly mastered Sharingan. Something strange happened. He could see too much. Layers of chakra flowed differently. A strange current beneath the surface of the village. Conversations through walls. Old blood seals on scrolls long buried. But worse. He saw flashes. A crimson mist over Konoha. Bodies. Umbu masks broken in the dirt. Kakashi's chakra signature flickering like a candle in the wind. And his own chakra. Twisting, unstable, alien. Future? Or warning? Hokage Tower, private meeting room. Kakashi tapped a folder onto his desk. Sasuke, Hinata, and Sakura stood behind Naruto, who now wore a short band across his left temple. Masking the eye, for now. These are missions and incident reports from the land of water and the grass border, Kakashi said. Bloodline extractions. 5 confirmed dead. 1 missing. Possibly alive. He pushed the photos forward. These collectors are no longer acting alone. They've partnered with an old threat. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Root? Kakashi nodded. Danzo? Presumed dead, Sakura said. But not all his loyalists were captured after the war. Sasuke scoffed. Of course not. They never surface until blood hits the floor. Which is why we're going to strike first, Kakashi said. We're forming a deniable task unit. Off the books. No headbands. Hinata stepped forward. You want us to go after them? Kakashi met Naruto's gaze. I want you to hunt them down and erase their network. Naruto didn't flinch. Who else is on the team? Elsewhere, root facility, underground in a steel chamber lit by flickering chakra lamps, a man with a half-burned Umbu mask knelt beside a stasis tank. Inside floated a child. Unconscious. Pale-eyed. A symbol carved into his chest. Too many assets have been wasted chasing bloodlines we can't replicate, the man said softly. But Uzumaki Naruto. He makes them irrelevant. A woman with 6 scars down her jaw stepped forward. He's unstable. All new gods are. Naruto's apartment, later that night he activated both eyes again. Sharingan. Byakugan. The pain was intense. But the vision. Limitless. He saw through the walls of Konoha. He saw through the earth. And then he saw someone watching him. From underground. A flicker. Just a moment. A chakra signature he didn't recognize, but that seemed to know him. And then. It vanished. He opened his eyes, panting. They're already inside. Chapter 12. The team without a name. They had no name. No patch. No records. Not even a mission scroll. But they were chosen. Naruto. Sasuke. Hinata. Sakura. Kakashi had sent them under full Hokage authority. But only off the books. No uniform. No traces. No mercy. Their orders were clear: find the collector root labs. Destroy them. Leave nothing behind. Land of Grass, root outpost, classified. It looked like an abandoned barn, half collapsed and buried in ivy. But chakra suppression seals pulsed beneath the surface like veins under skin. Naruto knelt beside the trap-laden door, his Byakugan active. His left eye. His Sharingan. Remained hidden under a reinforced patch, though it itched constantly now, hungry for use. I count 3 guards, 2 chakra silencing tags, and a few Injutsu-linked Genjutsu node beneath the eastern wall, he whispered. Sasuke nodded, crouched beside him. We go in quiet. No jutsu until I give the signal. I'll take the right side, Hinata added. Disrupt their seals. Sakura tightened her gloves. And I'll handle the extraction. No one said more. They moved like ghosts. Inside the lab the interior was worse than any of them expected. Rows of tanks. Some filled with fluids and floating, twisted bodies. Others shattered, leaking red. Stolen bloodlines. Experimental hybrids. Genetic errors piled in sealed biohazard units. But at the center. A clean room. And inside it. Naruto's own DNA. Dozens of samples. Blood. Tissue. Bone. Each labeled Uzumaki clone attempt number 3, replicator nerve sequence, unstable, regeneration trial 11B. Naruto stared, his mouth dry. They've been trying to make me, he whispered. Sakura's face was pale. This is full-scale cloning. If any of these samples had stabilized, they'd be creating replicators, Sasuke finished darkly. Weaponized Uzumaki. Naruto stepped forward, hands shaking. They must have gotten this during the war, he muttered. After I bled out in the valley. After I fought pain. Someone kept pieces of me. Hinata reached for his shoulder, grounding him. But it was too late. The rage had taken root. Deeper in the lab, an explosion rocked the hallway as Naruto stormed through it, chakra flaring violently, resonating between the Byakugan and Sharingan. Doors tore off hinges. Walls cracked from the force of his fury. A squad of root operatives tried to intercept. Tried. They never touched him. Main control chamber. The head scientist, a gaunt woman with a mask stitched across her face, turned in terror as Naruto's shadow fell across the monitors. "You're a miracle," she said, voice trembling. "We only wanted to understand." Naruto said nothing. He reached out. And the monitors cracked as every single tank in the lab shattered behind him. Outside, aftermath. The team stood in silence as the facility burned. "What now?" Sakura asked. Naruto didn't respond. He stood in front of the fire, eyes still activated. Red and white, swirling. He saw chakra trails retreating into the horizon. This wasn't the only lab. "Now," Naruto said coldly, "we find the others." Chapter 13 Echoes of the Self. The air was cold in the borderlands between the land of fire and the land of rivers. The kind of cold that settled into your bones. And didn't leave. Naruto stood at the edge of a ravine, his eyes narrowed, both transformed and active beneath a faint shimmer of chakra. Byakugan in the right. Sharingan in the left. He wasn't looking for enemies this time. He was looking for himself. The report Sakura had confirmed that one tank was missing from the lab they destroyed. Sasuke found the trail. A chakra signature too similar to Naruto's to be a coincidence. Hinata picked up the inconsistencies: staggered movements, chakra surges and bursts, erratic behavior. "It's unstable," she said. "But it's not dying. It's adapting." Naruto already knew what it meant. A clone. Grown from his cells. A failed experiment that somehow didn't fail enough. And now, it was loose. Worse, it had his instincts. His drive. His bloodline. And maybe even his memories. Canyon clearing, dusk. They found the clone at sunset. It stood barefoot in the middle of the ravine, back to them, hair shaggy and clothes torn. But the face. The face was his. Except the eyes were mismatched. One Byakugan. One Sharingan. No chakra seal. No limiter. It turned slowly. "Naruto Uzumaki," it said with eerie calm. "Original designation." Naruto stepped forward. "You've got no name?" The clone tilted its head. "I have no need for one. I am you. But cleaner." Sasuke's hand went to his sword. "It's copying your speech. The cadence. It's mimicking your identity." "No," the clone said. "I am reclaiming it. I was made from what was taken from you. Which means I am the version the world wanted." It raised a hand. "I don't want to destroy Konoha. I want to replace you." Battle, ravine floor. The clone attacked like lightning. Its movements were like Naruto's. But sharper, more precise. No hesitation. No wasted motion. It used shadow clones, but only in pairs. It used gentle fist strikes. But aimed at lethal points. It copied Sasuke's counters, Sakura's disruption techniques, even Hinata's intercept style. All learned from genetic memory. All stolen. Naruto fought back hard. He didn't just use clones. He used transformations. He switched from Byakugan to Sharingan mid-fight, disrupted his chakra pattern, even flickered into a sage-enhanced form for a heartbeat. The clone adapted. Hinata and Sasuke jumped in to support. But the clone predicted their movements before they made them. It knew them. The turn. Then Naruto did something the clone didn't predict. He stopped fighting. Stood still. And lowered his defenses. The clone hesitated. "What are you doing?" it asked, confused. "I am giving you a name," Naruto said softly. That stopped it completely. "You don't get to decide what I am." "Yes, I do," Naruto said. "Because I am not your enemy. You're me. Just twisted by people who never cared who we really were." He stepped forward slowly. "I am not here to kill you. I am here to free you." The clone flinched. Then. It screamed. Chakra poured out of its back like burning oil, red and blue and gold. The body shook. The veins around its eyes flared violently. I can't. Hold. Naruto reached out. And grabbed the clone's hand. I've got you. Aftermath. The clone lay unconscious. Alive. Naruto had sealed its chakra flow into dormancy, with help from Sakura and Hinata. Sasuke stood watch silently, one eye on the horizon. We can't take it back to the village, Hinata said softly. Not yet. They'll dissect him, Sakura agreed. Try to figure out how he stabilized. We'll keep him, Naruto said firmly. Out here. Off the grid. Until we can trust Konoha with the truth. Sasuke looked down at the clone. And if it wakes up? And still wants to replace you? Naruto looked out over the canyon. Then I'll teach him why no one gets to decide who I am. Not even another me. Chapter 14. Danzo's Ghost. In Konoha, silence could be a weapon. It hummed beneath the surface. Quiet words between old Umbu, glances from masked elders, files that disappeared from Hokage records without a trace. But now, whispers had taken shape. And one name had begun to spread again. Danzo Shimura. Root Vault, Sector 9, underground. A hand slid across a metal wall. Chakra-infused fingertips activated a hidden seal array, etched in blood and old Kagaya bone. The wall cracked open with a hiss of dust and stagnant air. Within, stood a man whose face was mostly hidden by a high-collared black cloak and fresh bandages over one eye socket. He was older. Scarred. But unmistakable. Danzo. The real one? A clone? A host? Even his inner circle wasn't sure. He removed a scroll from a stasis locker. Marked Project Rebirth. Inside a profile of Uzumaki Naruto. Chakra graphs. Visual analysis. A tissue scan of the stabilized clone, retrieved post-lab raid by remote agents. Danzo's fingers curled around the paper. They've nearly perfected him. Konoha, Hokage Tower. Kakashi threw a kunai across the office, burying it in the center of a mission board. Root is active again. Sakura and Sasuke stood before him. Naruto was absent. Still deep in the forest with the clone under Hinata's watch. They've leaked proof of Naruto's clone, Kakashi said grimly. That it stabilized. That it may already be replicating his abilities. Who has the intel? Sasuke asked. Two factions we know of. One inside Kumo's black market. Another in a neutral hidden rain cell. Sakura frowned. If the news spreads, Naruto won't be seen as a hero anymore. He'll be a biological weapon. Kakashi nodded. And there's one person who knew how to weaponize bloodlines better than anyone. Danzo, Sasuke said coldly. Forest safe house, near the clone. Naruto stood by a campfire, the clone resting nearby under a stasis seal. A glowing, tree root-like formation wrapped around its body to suppress chakra but preserve consciousness. He hasn't stirred, Hinata said softly. Naruto nodded. He's fighting with himself in there. I can feel it. Hinata touched his shoulder. So are you. He didn't deny it. Because part of him was afraid. What if the clone woke up and wanted to serve someone like Danzo? What if its only concept of worth was obedience? Or worse. What if it turned out better than him? Unknown location, Root Black Cell. A small circle of Root loyalists stood around a holographic projection of Naruto's clone. Beside it a map of Konoha. Beneath that Naruto's chakra profile. The lead Root scientist spoke, eyes glowing from an ancient sensor seal. We have confirmation that the clone retains every copied dojutsu Uzumaki Naruto has acquired. We believe he will continue to assimilate new ones. Someone asked, does he retain the will of fire? The scientist hesitated. No. Not yet. But we can program something better. From the shadows behind the glass, a hand emerged. Scarred. Withered. Bandaged. And a voice, dry and gravelly. Then do it. Danzo had returned. Chapter 15. Roots of Rebellion. The clone no longer screamed in his sleep. That was how Naruto knew the seal was working. And maybe, just maybe, the clone was healing. For 3 days now, Naruto had kept the clone conscious in short bursts. They meditated together. Ate in silence. Sparred in slow motion, like mirror images holding back storms. And then, finally, the clone spoke first. I don't have a name. Naruto set down his tea. Then let's fix that. The clone looked at him carefully. You already have mine. I am not trying to replace you, Naruto said. I am trying to give you a choice. The clone looked away. I never had a choice. Hidden Root Lab, reclaimed Black Site Danzo sat silently as his team downloaded chakra scans from the old lab Naruto's team destroyed. The stolen data was fragmentary, but it was enough to begin programming a new behavioral override seal. His mind is free now, one root agent warned. The clone is no longer compliant. Danzo's bandaged hand twitched. Then break the body. Rewrite the mind. Another root scientist stepped forward, unrolling a fresh scroll. There is a way. A pulse seal. It targets replication-borne nervous systems. If we activate it close enough, it will shut down all chakra control centers temporarily. Enough to extract. Danzo's single eye gleamed beneath the bandages. Then find him. Konoha, Hokage's office. Sakura burst into the room. Kakashi. We have a problem. Behind her, Sai walked in. Umbu uniform, eyes clouded with tension. Sai spoke first. Someone activated an old root relay seal. There's a beacon headed toward Naruto's location. Kakashi turned sharply. Who? Sai hesitated. Then quietly someone from inside the Hokage tower. Possibly from the intelligence division. Sakura paled. They're going to try to retrieve the clone. Or eliminate him, Sai added. To prevent contamination. Kakashi stood and reached for his mask. Get Sasuke. We're moving. Forest safe house, seconds before the strike. Naruto and the clone stood across from each other in the clearing. Training. Nothing more. The clone ducked under a wide swing and countered with a clone strike of his own. Equal force, matched timing. You're better, Naruto said, grinning. More precise. I am learning, the clone answered. From you. But then his face changed. He froze. Looked skyward. Something's coming, he whispered. Naruto activated both eyes. Byakugan to scout the perimeter, Sharingan to read chakra shifts. Too late. A pulse hit them like a thunderclap. Soundless, invisible. But devastating. The clone dropped to his knees instantly, eyes dimming, chakra flickering like a dying flame. Can't move. Naruto caught him as he fell. Hang on. Then shadows emerged from the treeline. Masked shinobi with root markings burned into their armor. One stepped forward. Uzumaki Naruto. Stand down. The asset belongs to us. Naruto stood slowly. No, he said, voice like steel. He belongs to himself. Battle Naruto vs. Root. They moved fast. But Naruto moved faster. With chakra boiling around him and rage in his chest, he activated the Sharingan fully. Then Byakugan. Vision split. Time slowed. He read every twitch, every misstep, every breath. And he unleashed. Sakura and Sasuke arrived mid-fight, just in time to see Naruto sending 2 root agents into trees with enough force to break them in half. No mercy, Sasuke muttered. Good. Sakura dropped next to the clone, stabilizing his chakra. It's a paralysis seal. Deep-rooted. He's resisting. He'd better, Naruto growled, as he cracked the last root agent across the jaw with a Rasengan-enhanced palm strike. Aftermath. They took no prisoners. Sai arrived late, but confirmed that a mole inside the tower had triggered the beacon. Files were gone. Someone had leaked Naruto's safehouse location. Kakashi arrived last, and saw the clone. Still trembling, still silenced. But conscious. You held him off, Kakashi said quietly. Naruto didn't turn around. Barely. I'll lock down the tower. Find the leak. Naruto nodded. good. But his heart wasn't in it. Because as he sat with the clone again later that night, Naruto finally asked, "Do you still want to be me?" The clone whispered back, "No, I want to be free." Chapter 16 Shadow of the Foundation. The root were never meant to return. But like all buried things in the shinobi world, they festered in the dark, evolving in silence. Naruto had seen firsthand what one stabilized clone could do. Now he would learn how close the world had come to mass-producing gods. Underground, Sector 0. It's not on any map, Sai said, as the elevator descended beneath a ruined weapons vault far outside Konoha's main walls. That's what scares me, Sasuke muttered, hand near his blade. The team stood ready. Naruto, Sasuke, Hinata, Sakura, Sai. The only people Kakashi trusted with what was to come. As the doors hissed open, the scent of bleach and burned chakra met them. Naruto stepped in first. The facility stretched wide and sterile. Walls of glass separated chambers filled with empty tanks. Others held floating masses. Partial clones, failed merges of bloodlines, chimeras that were never meant to survive. But the central chamber? It had 24 pods. All labeled, Project Replicator, UZ001 to UZ020 for the recording. Sakura activated an old console. A hollowed voice spoke. Subject UZ009. Unstable. Excessive aggression. Dissolved after sage chakra input. UZ013. Byakugan integration successful. Sharingan overload. Terminated. UZ017. Partial success. Maintained form for 12 hours. Rejected will of fire behavioral overlay. UZ024. Escaped. Pursued by field unit Gamma. Termination pending. Naruto clenched his fists. They were trying to build weapons. Versions of me. And program them with loyalty. They failed, Sai said. Too much individuality. Too much instinct. No, Sasuke said, stepping beside a tank with a cracked pod. They didn't fail. They just couldn't control them. Naruto stared at a reflection of his own face in the glass. What happened to the rest? He asked quietly. Sakura answered, most are dead. Hinata added, but not all. Back in Konoha, Intelligence Division Kakashi slammed the report down on the desk of Hyuga clan enforcer and internal security liaison. There were 24 experiments, he said, eye sharp. We've only accounted for one. And you believe Danzo intended to release the rest? Kakashi nodded grimly. Not release. Unleash. Somewhere in the rain country, abandoned tower lightning cracked the sky. Within the ruined spire, a figure sat in silence. Bandaged arms. Sleeveless uniform. Long hair. No headband. A replicator. UZ017. Still alive. Still watching. Still learning. It opened its eyes. A single Sharingan spun in one socket. In the other a pale Byakugan. It whispered, we weren't made to serve. We were made to surpass. Behind him, 6 other figures stood from the shadows. Some twisted. Some perfect. All burning with stolen chakra. And one of them had a Rinnegan. Chapter 17 The Ones Who Survived. Night fell over the rain country like a sheet of oil. Thick, heavy, and slow to move. In a ruined tower built long before the Second Shinobi War, the replicators convened. They were 7 now. 7 out of 24. 7 who had survived Danzo's control. Some scarred. Some silent. All carrying pieces of Naruto's body, chakra, and memory. UZ017 stood before them. Leader by right of strength. And purpose. We were not born, he said. We were assembled. And now. We will choose who we become. He raised a hand. Chakra flickered in the air behind him. A holographic seal pattern activated on the back wall. It displayed their original DNA sequence Uzumaki Naruto. With variations. Byakugan integrations. Sharingan enhancements. Sage mode attempts. Even corrupted traces of Rinnegan fusion. UZ-017 turned. Our original is alive. Powerful. Whole. But he still plays the Leaf's dog. We do not need to kill him. Unless he refuses the only thing that matters. Another replicator stepped forward. This one quieter, with only one eye active. And what's that? Freedom, UZ-017 said coldly. We were made from a prisoner. We will not die one. Konoha, forest safehouse. The stabilized clone, nicknamed Shinrai by Hinata, meditated silently beneath a tree. His body had recovered. His mind? Questionable. He felt things now: peace, hunger, curiosity, guilt. But more than anything? A pull. Something. Someone. Was calling to him. He stood and walked toward the edge of the clearing. Hinata followed. Are you okay? He didn't answer at first. Then, there are others like me. Hinata froze. You're sensing them? Shinrai nodded. They're reaching out. Trying to hurt you? Trying to welcome me. Hokage Tower, briefing room. Kakashi stood before the core team, a map unrolled on the table. Pins marked recent chakra disturbances. Spread across Rain Country, the land of rivers, and into the edge of lightning territory. They've been moving in a pattern, Sakura said. Not random attacks. Coordination. Sai chimed in. They're avoiding hidden villages. Choosing unaligned targets. Civilian outposts. Criminal compounds. Testing themselves. Sasuke crossed his arms. A group this powerful could start a rogue nation. They're not there yet, Kakashi said. But they're getting close. Naruto looked down at the map, eyes shadowed beneath his Hitaite. They want Shinrai. Everyone went quiet. Hinata broke the silence. He's connected to them. Same code. Same memories. But he's not like them. Not yet, Sasuke added. But what if they offer him something you can't? Later, Naruto and Shinrai. Naruto found his clone sitting on the edge of a small lake near the training ground. They said nothing for a while. Then, you heard them, Naruto said. I feel them, Shinrai replied. Like echoes inside my bones. They'll try to take you. I know. Naruto glanced sideways. Will you go? Shinrai didn't answer. Instead, he said, what if I belong with them? Naruto turned fully. You don't belong to anyone. That's the whole point. Shinrai met his gaze. You're wrong. A long pause. I belong to myself. Final scene, Rain border. UZ-017 stood atop the cliffs with his 6 siblings. Rain poured down around them like falling knives. In the distance, a single figure stood between them and their next objective. Naruto. Eyes burning red and white. No more running, he called. UZ-017 smiled beneath the rain. Then stop us. Chapter 18. Divided Reflections. The storm held over the cliffs. Rain carved trenches into the stone as thunder rolled above the land of Rain's northern border. At the cliff's edge stood Naruto Uzumaki. Soaked, breath steady, eyes burning. Byakugan in the right. Sharingan in the left. Before him 7 replicators. Each one carrying a twisted fragment of him. His face. His power. His legacy. Corrupted. At their center stood UZ-017. Leader. Visionary. Executioner. This doesn't have to end in blood, Naruto called over the wind. It already began with blood, UZ-017 replied, his voice calm despite the weather. You just forgot who paid for it. A replicator with half-melted skin stepped forward. Do you remember UZ-005? I do. He begged for death when Danzo sealed his mouth shut. Another UZ-011. She cracked under sage chakra infusion. She screamed with your voice. Naruto's jaw clenched. You think I wanted any of that? That I asked for it? No, UZ-017 said, eyes narrowing. But you benefited from it. They built us from your scraps. And you got to live free. Then come back with me. I'll protect you. UZ-017 chuckled darkly. You don't get it. We don't want your protection. He raised his hand. We want your place. The battle begins. Naruto moved first. He flickered across the battlefield, launching a Rasengan into the closest replicator before the others even finished forming seals. It hit. But didn't stop them. The twisted one split into two, each absorbing the blast and regenerating. Naruto cursed under his breath. He's using half regeneration and clone disintegration. Another charged from the right. Fist glowing with stolen gentle fist chakra. Naruto blocked high, but the second followed with a wind-enhanced strike from below. He was airborne for half a second before slamming into rock. They know everything I know. And they don't hold back. He flipped back onto his feet and exhaled slowly. Fine, he muttered. He removed the limiter seals on both eyes. Let's see if you can keep up with what I've become. Elsewhere, with Shinrai and Hinata, the rain hit harder here. The pulse in Shinrai's spine grew more erratic with each hour. He could feel the chakra of the others. Calling him, beckoning him. Not with words. With instinct. Shinrai, Hinata said softly, watching him from across the fire. You don't have to go to them. He looked down. I am not sure I have a choice. Yes, she said, standing. You do. You're not a shadow. You're not a puppet. You're not even just a clone. She stepped closer, placing her hand gently on his chest. You're someone. Shinrai looked into her eyes. And for the first time, saw himself not as a reflection, but as a person. Then he looked to the north. Naruto's chakra flared like a beacon in the storm. He was fighting alone. Shinrai turned to Hinata. I need to go. I'll catch up, she said, smiling. Thank you. Back on the battlefield, Naruto's breath came in hard bursts. He'd taken down 3. But they kept getting back up. One had lost an arm. Another, half a face. But all of them moved like they didn't feel pain. He was bleeding from a gash across his ribs, chakra reserves rapidly dropping. And still. He refused to fall. Is that all, Uzumaki? UZ-017 taunted, stepping forward now. Are you finished pretending we're not stronger than you? Naruto stood tall, defiant. You're not stronger. Just hungrier. UZ-017 raised his hand. Rinnegan pulsing in his palm. I'll show you the difference. Before he could fire, a blast of chakra burst down from the cliff above. Shinrai. He landed beside Naruto, eyes blazing. I am not with you, he called to the replicators. I am with him. Chapter 19. The mirror breaks. Shinrai landed hard beside Naruto, twin shocks of chakra rippling through the battlefield. The replicators hesitated. UZ-017 didn't. So the prodigal clone returns, he said, lowering his hand, Rinnegan still glowing. Don't pretend loyalty means anything to you. You're one of us. I am not yours, Shinrai said, his voice calm, but sharp. And I am not his copy either. He extended his hand toward Naruto. I am me. Naruto clasped his wrist without hesitation, pulled him in close. You ready? He asked. Shinrai nodded. Let's break the future they tried to give us. Twin forces, they moved like synchronized flame and wind. Naruto formed a clone wall to intercept the remaining attackers. Shinrai moved through the gaps like a scalpel. Swift, clean, lethal. One replicator launched a black lightning strike. Shinrai batted it away with a chakra pulse. Another tried to close with a clawed hand of earth. Naruto caught it mid-strike and shattered the limb with a Rasengan fused with wind chakra. Combination! Shinrai shouted. Naruto spun a clone into position. Shinrai jumped off its back. Together, they formed a spiraling sphere of red and white chakra. A twin Rasengan, infused with the unique frequency of Naruto's bloodline and the reactive harmony of Shinrai's evolution. They slammed it into UZ-021, sending her flying into the cliff wall. Unconscious. 4 left. Then. UZ-017 moved. Rinnegan unleashed enough. UZ-017's voice echoed with unnatural clarity. He raised his hand. Black rods erupted from the ground around Naruto and Shinrai, pulsing with suppressive chakra. The battlefield warped. The rain froze midair. The sky twisted. I learned from you, UZ-017 said. I watched you. Studied every mistake. The moment you let empathy define you, you became weak. His Rinnegan activated fully. Reality shimmered. Time slowed. Naruto felt the pull immediately. Chibaku Tensei. A gravitational core formed in the air, drawing stone, dirt, trees, and even chakra toward it. Shinrai shouted, but his voice was lost in the wind. Naruto looked to him. And then made the choice. The last seal you said you're not me, Naruto said, smiling sadly. Then I'll be the one to end this. He pushed Shinrai away with a blast of chakra. Hard enough to knock him out of the gravity field. Shinrai screamed as he tumbled down the cliff. Naruto. Naruto turned, hands moving rapidly. Tiger. Horse. Rat. Dog. Snake. He activated a seal only one person had ever used before. The Four Tails release mark. Learned from Jiraiya. Modified by Kakashi. Unstable. Untested. Naruto's cloak of chakra erupted into red flame. Bijou energy fused with his own transformation bloodline. His eyes glowed golden crimson, Sharingan spinning like burning stars. Final Clash UZ-017's gravitational field surged. But Naruto rushed into it. He plowed through it with raw force, his body cracking under the strain, his clone-crafted eyes adapting by the second. He struck UZ-017 in the chest with a chakra fist laced with tailed beast energy. UZ-017 countered with 6 rods, trying to pierce Naruto's spine. They collided in a shockwave that broke the sky. Then silence. Aftermath. Minutes later Naruto lay on the ground, body steaming, barely breathing. The replicators were gone. Fled or unconscious. Shinrai stumbled toward him, bruised, drenched, eyes wide. You idiot, he muttered, kneeling. You said we'd fight together. Naruto cracked a smile, bloody teeth showing. I did fight. For you. Shinrai gritted his teeth. Then I'll fight. For you. Chapter 20 Ashes of Identity. The storm had passed. But the battlefield still smoked. Naruto lay in the crater, his body scorched by the chakra overload, his skin raw from the Four Tails release mark. His chakra was nearly gone. His breathing shallow. Shinrai knelt at his side, trembling. Not from fear, but from choice. He had chosen Naruto. Not UZ-017. Not the replicators. Not the root vision of a perfect shinobi. And now, he had to protect him. Alone. Incoming threats. Hinata's chakra flared first, approaching fast from the southern ridge. Behind her, Sakura and Sai. Konoha had sent a recovery team. But so had someone else. Shinrai's Byakugan pulsed. On the opposite side of the cliffs masked figures in grey Ambu armor. Root survivors. 5 of them. Stealth chakra patterns, moving silent and fast. Coming not for the replicators. Coming for Naruto. They don't want to rescue him. They want to erase the liability. The stand. Shinrai stood slowly. His eyes burned. A perfected Sharingan in one, and something new awakening in the other. Not a Byakugan. Not exactly. But something born from it. A vision layered in chakra maps, threat pathways, and emotional resonance. He raised his hand. And created a seal. On instinct. One he'd never been taught. A defense seal, personalized. Not designed to kill. Not this time. Designed to protect. Naruto's body became encased in a glowing red lattice of chakra. Dense, self-healing, and tuned to reject foreign chakra signatures. The root operatives emerged from the tree line. Step aside, clone, one barked. You don't get to call me that anymore, Shinrai said calmly. Another raised a weapon. He's unstable. The original's exhausted. Take them both. Shinrai lowered his stance. No. Fight for the future. The clash was fast and brutal. Shinrai had always mirrored Naruto's instincts, but now they were his own. Every strike was his. Every decision sharpened by his own will. He didn't aim to kill. But he made it clear he could. The first root fell from a nerve-severing palm strike. The second was blasted back by a modified Rasengan. Condensed and shaped with emotion, not programming. By the time the rest regrouped, Hinata dropped in beside Shinrai, her eyes glowing with fury. You really thought you could lay a hand on him? She said. Behind her Sakura and Sai. You're outnumbered, Sai called to the remaining root. And outmatched. The root vanished into retreat. Mission failed. Aftermath, hours later Naruto was stabilized, his chakra resealed and recovery started. He remained unconscious, but the worst had passed. Shinrai sat on a nearby rock, wiping blood from his knuckles. Not Naruto's blood. Not enemy blood. His own. He'd cracked something inside his arm during the fight. Your body's changing, Sakura said gently. You're not just copying anymore. You're evolving. Shinrai nodded. I feel it. Like something's activating. Sai handed him a scroll. Kakashi sent this. Classified clearance. Full Umbu record of Project Replicator. Shinrai hesitated before opening it. At the top, subject UZ024, Shinrai status stabilized. Independent. Free. He looked toward Naruto, unconscious but alive. And whispered, so am I. Chapter 21 Unwritten Paths. The Forest of Rain was quiet now. Too quiet. Naruto slept under the open sky, shielded by a chakra tent and the lingering scent of burnt ozone. His body had been through war, not just battle. And for once, it was not his job to keep watch. That role now belonged to someone else. Shinrai sat at the edge of the hilltop, blade across his lap, eye scanning the trees below. Not because he had to. But because he chose to. Konoha Recovery Camp. The morning after Sakura carefully adjusted Naruto's chakra monitors. They flickered from yellow to green. Stabilized. He's fighting to wake up, she said. Hinata stood nearby, arms folded, weary but calm. He'll win. Because he always does? Sakura asked with a small smile. No, Hinata replied. Because someone else fought for him this time. Shinrai stood by the perimeter, staring at the rising sun. He hadn't spoken since the root withdrawal. Sai approached, silent as shadow. You did well. I didn't win, Shinrai said without turning. They escaped. You didn't fight to win. You fought to protect. That's the difference. Shinrai finally looked at him. Is that what being shinobi means? Sai nodded. At our best. Elsewhere, ruins of Danzo's archive deep beneath an abandoned Foundation bunker, two survivors of Root unsealed a black scroll. Older than the war, sealed with blood from Danzo's original hand. It hissed open. Inside was not a jutsu. Not a summoning. A directive. Protocol 0 Rebirth of Foundation Target All Stabilized Bloodline Hosts Purpose Final Assimilation of Leaf Sovereignty Tool Replicator Core DNA. The younger of the two root agents glanced at the glowing sigil at the base of the scroll. Activate it? He asked. The other hesitated. Then nodded. The seal flared, sending a pulse through the old root chakra relay. Across the continent, every dormant replicator felt it. Hidden Temple Replicator Refuge UZ017 gripped the edge of a crumbling stone pillar, his breath ragged. He hadn't fully recovered from Naruto's final strike. But his hatred had. The pulse echoed through him like a forgotten memory. Danzo's last command. And with it. A choice. Obey the root that created them. Or sever it forever. Behind him, the remaining replicators stirred. We can feel it, UZ011 said. The signal. UZ017 stood straight. We were created by his blood. But we are no longer bound by his will. He turned to the others. We decide what comes next. Konoha. That night Naruto finally woke. His vision was blurry, his limbs heavy. But the first thing he saw was Shinrai, sitting by the bedside. He smiled. You look like hell. Shinrai exhaled. Then laughed. Really laughed. I am hell, he said. But I kept your spot warm. Naruto chuckled, then groaned. Ow. Don't make me laugh. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Naruto reached over, placing a hand on Shinrai's shoulder. You don't have to be me, he said quietly. But I am proud of what you've become. Shinrai swallowed. I think. I want to find out who that is. Naruto smirked. Then let's figure it out. Together. Chapter 22 Legacy Reforged. The sky over the rain country cracked open as dawn spilled into the world like molten gold. Naruto stood under it for the first time since the battle, breathing freely. He was still sore. Still slow. But he was alive. And more than that. He wasn't alone. Konoha Recovery Camp. Kakashi arrived by hawk just before midday. His expression was unreadable beneath the mask, but his eyes betrayed quiet relief the moment he saw Naruto sitting upright. You're late, Naruto said. You're reckless, Kakashi replied, arms crossed. So we're even. They moved to the edge of the clearing, leaving the others to pack. Naruto watched the wind shift through the trees. Something felt off. They're not done, he said finally. Danzo may be dead, but he planned too far ahead. He was trying to build something after himself. Kakashi nodded. We confirmed a global chakra pulse was sent out. A genetic relay encoded to replicator bodies. Silent activation. Possibly a recall. Or a kill switch. Naruto's jaw clenched. I can't let them face that alone. I agree, Kakashi said. But the council is calling you back. They want answers. Full debrief. Eyes on Shinrai too. Naruto turned toward the camp. Toward the man who looked like him. But wasn't. Not anymore. Shinrai's choice. Shinrai stood at the edge of a cliff, his cloak fluttering in the wind. The chakra signal from Danzo's scroll still echoed in his bones. Low, hollow, cold. It didn't control him. But it called to him. A whisper, not a command. He knew what it meant. Danzo's final play wasn't a weapon. It was a test. For them. The replicators. To see which ones would follow the route they were grown from. And which ones would grow past it. Shinrai. He turned. Naruto approached slowly, hands in his pockets. They want us back, Naruto said. Konoha. They want you back, Shinrai corrected. I am a liability. Maybe, Naruto admitted. But you're my liability. We fight together. Shinrai stared ahead, silent for a moment. What if I need to find them? Naruto blinked. The others? They're scattered. And if Danzo's relay is more than a signal, then I am the only one who can reach them without being seen as a threat. You think they'll listen to you? I don't know, Shinrai admitted. But I know they won't listen to you. Naruto exhaled. Then offered his hand. I don't want to let you go. Shinrai didn't take it. Instead, he stepped forward and hugged him. Then don't let go. Just trust me to take a different road. That night, as they part ways, Sakura handed Shinrai a scroll sealed with Konoha's protective stamp. It's a communication beacon. Use it if things go wrong. Hinata walked up last, placing a soft kiss to his temple. Find yourself, she whispered. Not just them. Then Shinrai stepped into the mist and vanished. Leaving Naruto behind. But not alone. Chapter 23 The Split. Shinrai traveled alone now. His steps were quiet, but his thoughts were loud. Echoes of voices he never chose to inherit. Naruto's optimism. UZ-017's certainty. Danzo's silence. He tracked the pulse of the other replicators through an instinct that had nothing to do with chakra and everything to do with design. Each one was different. Some stable. Some violent. A few. Frightened. He wasn't hunting them. He was finding them. Land of Snow, abandoned observatory. The first was UZ008. She lived alone in an abandoned chakra observatory, surrounded by reflective crystals that distorted her chakra signature. When Shinrai arrived, she attacked. Quick, vicious, afraid. He didn't strike back. He only said, I am not here to fight. I am here to give you your name. That stopped her cold. And when she wept, he caught her. Meanwhile, Konoha Naruto stood before the council. Kakashi at his side. They grilled him with clipped words and clipped smiles. Unauthorized release of forbidden seals. Unregistered combat outside the village. Use of an unrecognized shinobi entity. They meant Shinrai. Naruto answered calmly. I took responsibility. They didn't say it, but he saw it in their eyes. They weren't afraid of what he did. They were afraid of what he made. 2 more replicators found. UZ014, a berserker with half-melted skin and unstable fire release. UZ019, a mute with perfect Rinnegan control. And no emotional anchor. Both tried to flee. One stayed after Shinrai broke his sword in half mid-charge. Then handed him the hilt. The other didn't speak. She just followed. Elsewhere, the kill order. The old man behind the root operation, one of Danzo's final lieutenants, watched a red-sealed scroll ignite in blue flame. It was a signal to his private assassin corps. Eliminate all replicator units. Stabilized or not. Begin with a rogue. Codename Shinrai. Shinrai knew he was being followed. He didn't run. He let the assassin come. The man was fast, silent, and smelled of root oil and war. He stabbed Shinrai through the side with a chakra-forged blade. But Shinrai didn't fall. Instead, he looked the man in the eyes and said, I know who sent you. And then he showed the assassin mercy. Because the assassin had a code written into his tongue. Like Sai once did. Shinrai broke it with a wordless seal. Then left him alive. Shinrai now had 4 replicators traveling with him. None of them wore uniforms. None called him commander. They called him Shinrai. He didn't correct them. Together, they crossed the land of wind, seeking the others. But also leaving behind messages. Not of war. Of choice. You were built from pieces. That doesn't mean you're broken. Naruto stood in Hokage Tower, listening as Sai reported, the root purge failed. Half the cells were deeper than we thought. The assassin units weren't shut down. They were redirected. By who? Naruto asked. We don't know. But we know what they're doing. Sai hesitated. They're targeting the replicators. And their leader. Naruto turned toward the window. He's not their leader. Sai looked up. Then what is he? Naruto smiled faintly. He's what I could have been if someone had just let me choose. In the outskirts of a burned-out shrine, Shinrai's group was ambushed. 3 replicators had already been killed elsewhere by root loyalists. UZ017 returned. But he didn't come to lead. He came to warn. They're building a failsafe. Something worse than us. Something that wasn't born from you. He described it in fragments. A blank template. Body built from pure chakra, not flesh. Programmed with everything Naruto ever did. A perfect duplicate. Not Shinrai. Not replicator. But something else. Chapter 24, The Hollow God. They called it Project Yasha. A chakra-born construct of Naruto's likeness. Forged from battle data. Fueled by stolen DNA and artificial bija chakra. No thoughts. No voice. Only power. It activated when the final root beacon was triggered. Its first action? Kill the remaining replicators. Its second? Head for Konoha. Naruto didn't wait. When Sai delivered the report, he didn't ask permission. He told Kakashi, I am ending this. Then he left. 1 clone went to Konoha. 1 to the border. The real Naruto? He followed the pulse only he could feel. The one that wasn't calling from him. But for him. The first time Naruto saw Project Yasha, he didn't recognize himself. It was taller. Leaner. Its eyes held none of his spark. Just red and white pinwheels, spinning in perfect rhythm. And when it moved? It didn't blink. It didn't breathe. It didn't live. But it fought like him. Exactly like him. Battle on the border. Project Yasha struck without warning. Its Rasengan was sharper, its clones unbreakable, its reaction time inhuman. Naruto tried to speak. Tried to break through whatever programming bound the construct. But Yasha didn't hear. It only fought. Naruto pushed back with everything he had. Byakugan. Sharingan. Sage mode. But every technique Yasha saw, it countered perfectly. Even Naruto's unpredictability was no longer a strength. Because this wasn't a copy. It was a recording with a will. And that will only had one line of code: replace. Replicate. Rule. Shinrai arrived mid-battle. He saw Naruto get thrown into a mountain. He saw Yasha split into 3 chakra-forged shadows. He didn't hesitate. He joined the fight with fury. Not to prove he was the real one. But to prove no one else was. Together, Naruto and Shinrai formed a new strategy. Shinrai used delay seals and compressed chakra fields to pin down Yasha's shadows. Naruto distracted the core body. They finally got it to stagger. But then it adapted. Faster. Harder. Smarter. Naruto's mind raced. If it learns during battle, then we can't beat it with power. Shinrai nodded grimly. Then we beat it with what it doesn't have. Yasha pressed Shinrai into the dirt, arm through his side, chakra blade humming. You are deviation, it said. Shinrai grinned through the blood. Funny. That's what Danzo said. He triggered a seal on his chest. A memory seal. Naruto's memory. Of Irika. Of ramen. Of pain. Of healing. Of friends. The seal pulsed outward. Emotional chakra flooding the field. Yasha recoiled. It had never processed emotionally coded chakra. It couldn't. Its framework twisted. Naruto followed up with a Rasengan filled with pure intention. His will. Goodbye, copy. He struck. Yasha shattered. The battlefield was quiet. Shinrai lay bleeding. Naruto held him. You did it, Shinrai whispered. No, Naruto said. We did. Hinata, Sakura, and Sai arrived minutes later. The root remnants were already being erased across the continent. Seals reversing, labs collapsing. Danzo's final weapon had fallen. But something else rose in its place. Chapter 25 Legacy Rewritten. Back in Konoha, the council wanted Naruto honored. They wanted Shinrai studied. Naruto refused the parade. Shinrai refused the leash. Instead, Naruto stood before the village and said, "This man beside me is not a copy. He's not my shadow. He's Shinrai. He is a shinobi. He is my brother." Months later, Naruto visited a grave. Danzo's was unmarked. Forgotten. But Shinrai had placed something there anyway. A broken mask. And a flower. Not for him, he said to Naruto. For the others who didn't survive. They stood there together for a long time. No words needed. They were not perfect. Not pure. Not products. But people. And from now on? They would write their own legacy. Together. The end. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. There is also a link in the description to my Patreon. It has Naruto fanfiction that cannot be posted on YouTube. There is some free content on there. So, you don't have to be a paying member to enjoy listening to excellent fanfiction.